In case you're in the market for the exciting new two-seat Yamaha Wolverine RMAX 1000 and are not currently a subscriber, you may not be aware that UTV On Demand recently wrapped up the most in-depth review of the machine currently online, which you might want to check out. Yamaha worked hard to maximize the RMAX versatility and ease of setup, with spring preload and three-way compression damping adjustable Fox shocks, capable multi-condition tires from GBC or Maxxis, as well as various drive modes for the gas pedal on the XTR and LE models, a feature which can easily be added to the base model. For all of you who told us that you've already put money down or taken ownership of a new RMAX 2, we wanted to put together a little setup guide to help you get the most out of your RMAX without spending a dime. With the machine still new to both publications and consumers, we asked Yamaha's ATV and side-by-side product testing manager Pat Biolsi for help. Pat has more time in the RMAX than anyone on the planet. His driving skills would certainly make him a competitive racer, making him the ideal person to share his setup tips for getting the most out of the RMAX 1000 for various terrains or uses.
My name is Patrick Biolsi. I'm here with Yamaha Motor Corporation and UTV On Demand. We're going to talk about the new Wolverine RMAX 1000. Alright, yeah, we have Fox QS3 2.0 shocks, and with 14.2 inches of travel on the front and 16.9 inches of travel on the rear. We've got a huge amount of travel to deal with the big bumps at higher speeds, but really give awesome comfort at low to middle speeds. It comes with 3 damping positions, 1, 2, and 3. It comes in the number 2 position. But for where we are here on the East Coast, you can leave it in that number 2 position. Again, if you're going to drive at those medium trail speeds, you can drive it. We did a lot of evaluation with it with what we call the recreational cargo load, or 150 pounds in the bed. It really focused on maximizing comfort, but of course maintaining ground clearance and bottoming resistance with that number 2 damping position. If you really want to maximize your comfort, drop it down to number 1 position. You can lower your tire pressure from the recommended 14 PSI down to 13 PSI. It's really going to improve the low speed comfort. And again, especially on the West Coast, higher speeds, bigger bumps, you're going to bump it up to number 3. That's really going to give you a nice balance of a real high quality damping feel, good comfort, but excellent bottoming resistance. Another key adjustment that's available is we have plus or minus 10 millimeters of spring preload on the front. We do have dual springs with a crossover, but the crossover is not adjustable, but the overall preload setting is. And again, if you really want to maximize your comfort, you can reduce it by 10 millimeters in the front. Or if you want to, again, maximize your ground clearance, you can add 10 millimeters, up to 10 millimeters in the front. And then in the back, you have 15 millimeters of adjustment, plus or minus. So again, if you really want to maximize your comfort, take some preload out. You're continuously carrying a heavy load, or you're going to drive at real high speeds with a lot of bigger bumps. You can add preload in the back, again, up to 15 millimeters, which is a really nice adjustment to do to give you what you're looking for from the vehicle. Another key thing to consider adjusting is your tire pressure. You can get down to 13 PSI with this Maxxis Carnivore. It's a 30, 10, 14 square setup, so it's really convenient. You can run all 4 corners if you want to carry a spare with you or have one back at camp or back at the truck. Really convenient. An 8-ply rated radial. We also have the new GBC Dirt Commander 2.0, which is also a 30, 10, 14 8-ply rated radial, which is also really good. It comes on our white and gray models. The Carnivore comes on the green XTR model and the blue LE. But you can also up your tire pressure if you really want to improve your steering precision, less sidewall roll feeling. 14 is the recommended, but you can go up from there, and it really can improve your steering character if that's what you're looking for from the tire. One of the things we're really excited about is the way this chassis, this suspension, this tire setup works all over the United States. East Coast to West Coast. There's really something for everybody, and there's a setting that's going to work for a lot of different situations, no matter where you are in the US. On the East Coast here, we run a lot of position number 1 because it really is the softest and most comfortable setup. We lower our tire pressure, and again, we don't have an anti-rear sway bar. We do have one in the front. What we did there was on the front side, it really helps from a steering perspective. You really don't have to wait for the chassis to stop moving before the vehicle turns, and it gives you a really good confidence-inspiring feel from the front side. On the rear, we're really looking for maximum articulation, and without a sway bar on the back, and the suspension setting we have with 16.9 inches of travel, it's going to reach for the ground in those really tight, technical, nasty, rutted terrain. And it works really well no matter where you are on the east or the west. Once we bump it up, again, probably more on the West Coast, the higher speeds, the bigger bumps, We like to go to position number 3, add a little preload potentially, and then up your tire pressure. Again, works really well on the West Coast especially. One of the really unique features of the new RMAX Wolverine is the D mode system, or drive mode system. One of the key points is it actually, even though it's controlling what happens with throttle response to the engine, it actually can affect how comfortable you are and what it feels like in the chassis as well. I actually find that I'll switch it to crawl mode, even if I'm on a medium, intermediate level trail. It actually reduces the amount of response from the engine just enough to really smooth everything out, and it gives less chassis pitching, and it ends up being really comfortable. And you still get full power. All the drive modes give you 100% throttle, 100% power. It just applies it in a different way. So we feel like crawl mode, trail mode, and sport mode can really match what your mindset is, no matter what the terrain is or no matter where you are in the US. A couple other things about D mode that I think are really useful and unique. When you're in crawl or trail, you actually get the maximum amount of engine braking based on how quickly it closes the throttle plates when you let off the throttle. But in sport, you actually get less engine braking, which again, we found really matches what you're looking for when you're driving in a sporty way, ripping around on a fire road, you let off the gas, it's gonna have a little bit less engine braking feel than it will in crawl or trail, where we really want that maximum natural feeling that you get from the Yamaha Ultramatic system. When you're on the throttle, trail is really that one-to-one feeling. You give it this much throttle, you get that much from the tires. It's a very linear feeling. When it comes to crawl, it's very smooth, maybe a little bit delayed because you really want that smooth character when you're trying to get maximum traction in those rocky technical sections. And then sport, it's going to be more than you asked for. It's going to be super responsive. When you give it this much throttle, the throttle plate's going to open a little bit quicker and really give the maximum amount of response the engine can give you.
Thanks to Yamaha and Pat Biolsi for sharing his knowledge and setup tips. We'll be trying out some of his recommended settings in an upcoming video, so subscribe to UTV On Demand if you want to keep up with everything we've got going on with the new Yamaha Wolverine RMAX 1000. Thanks for watching.